Welcome, football fans. Buckle up for another hard-hitting episode of Player 54 Podcast, an independent show focused solely on alternative and opportunity football. From a sunny Southwest Florida studio, here is your host, Michael Lathrop.
Hello, football fans. This is episode 127, uniquely Ahmad Lyons. Before we get started, I want to share the studio has been experiencing internet issues. My apologies if the audio and visual quality of this episode is not up to our usual standard. This week, we have the latest developments from around the alternative and opportunity football world to share. In addition, we get back to welcoming new players with former Tucson Sugar Skulls defensive back and Alabama Beavers camp invitee Ahmad Lyons joins the show to discuss his football journey and more. But first, we have those football developments to cover. So let's get to it.
Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news?
On January 17th, the Indoor Football League announced representatives from all 14 teams gathered in Phoenix, Arizona for the league's annual meeting. The agenda included operations, review the state of the league, and finalize updates for the 2025 season. A notable takeaway from the meetings were 6 rule updates for the 2025 season. The first being kickoff rule adjustment. Any kickball that passes through the end zone without touching the field of play will now be marked at the kicking team's 20-yard line. The previous adjustment of the 25-yard line has been removed for consistency. Second being positive yardage rule in final minute. The former rule requiring positive yardage in the final 60 seconds of the game has been reinstated. If a team leading by 14 points or fewer has possession of the ball during the last minute, they must gain positive yardage, otherwise the clock will stop. Third being linebacker blitzing rule simplified. The league has eliminated the restriction on the linebackers blitzing outside of the alley. A linebacker who declares a blitz may now rush from inside or outside of the alley. The fourth being twist rule eliminated. Defensive linemen are now permitted to execute twist moves. The fifth being wide receiver motion adjustment. The 1-yard grace for wide receivers in motion crossing the line of scrimmage has been removed. A receiver's foot crossing a line at the snap will now be considered a false start. Other body parts, such as the knee, hand, or head, will not determine the penalty. The final and sixth being linebacker and receiver contact in the box. The rule prohibiting illegal contact between linebackers and wide receivers inside the box has been removed. Contact within this area will now be deemed legal. On January 20th, Brownsville Chiefs owner Keith Williams announced the team will not participate in the Professional Arena Independent Association's 2025 season. Instead, the Chiefs will have the same schedule and proceed with an independent season. On January 23rd, the Arena League's Iowa Woo announced Victor Mann as the team's new head coach. Also on January 23rd, Arena Football One's Wilkes-Barre Mavericks announced Jeremy Liotta as the team's new defensive coordinator. As I previously mentioned, we will now be joined by former Tucson Sugar Skulls defensive back and Alabama Beavers camp invitee, Ahmad Lyons, to discuss his football journey and more. Welcome, Ahmad. I appreciate you taking the time to appear on the show to discuss your football journey and being an Alabama Beavers camp invitee.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm well. I mean, I know the country's kind of got a little bit of weather. It's even kind of hitting us here in the southeast where I'm located.
Yeah.
Florida. Luckily, we're not getting snow in southwestern Florida, but we are dealing with the 40-degree temps and a lot of rain and mist in the gray skies. So it's not quite sunny, Florida at the moment. But, life is good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. We catching some of that weather, too, in North Carolina. It done snowed over here, so been snowed in. Just sitting here doing some recovery. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling, really.
There you go. Take the downtime. Make sure you're good and healthy. Your body is ready to rock and roll. But we'll get to it here, Ahmad. I believe it's always important to properly introduce those tuning in to the guest. If they're not familiar with you, your career. So in an effort to do so, I'd like to share your career path to date a little bit, if we could, and then we can kind of get into the nitty gritty of where you're at. But as far as I understand, you played your collegiate ball at Division I FCS Wagner College, where
Yeah.
you were blessed to earn the following honors. You served as a 2-year team captain. 2021, you were a spring second team All NEC. 2021 Fall Honorable Mention, and a 2021 FCS Bowl All American. That's it's pretty good because I mean, you think about it, you didn't have a lot of time in the middle of COVID, right? So that COVID year kind of shook that up, with a lot of things shutting down. So you came in and you actually, I'd say that's pretty accomplished. I'd say that's pretty respectable. And I'm not here to inflate you in any way. I'm just trying to be honest because a lot of people sometimes think highly of themselves. They don't have accolades, and you have them. So kudos to you there from your college time.
Yeah.
So let's going down. Oh, you're welcome. Going down memory lane here a little bit. Can you walk us through, leading up to college? When did you first fall in love with the game? What was your college recruitment process like? And maybe, some of your fondest memories from your time at Wagner College.
Got you. Always played football as I was young. Kind of grew up watching my dad. He had a lot of film and stuff, so I kind of looked up to him. Watched him about every day on the VCR. That was back when it was in date and stuff like that. So I watched a lot of football. I started Little League around second grade, maybe second or third. It just went from there. I kind of played all sports throughout my life too. So played football, basketball, baseball, and I ran track. Started running track in high school, really. But yeah, I played all sports. Just been a sports family, all type of stuff. Got 2 little brothers. We all play sports. So yeah, it kind of started there. Just me watching my dad. Wanted to be like him when I was younger. So it kind of fell into place. But yeah, in high school was I wouldn't say it was kind of tough as far as recruitment and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't think I had the knowledge to get myself out because, the coaches, they're going to do what they can do. But at the same time, you got to kind of get yourself out there too. But I did what I could do. I did a couple camps. Just the exposure was kind of small. Coming from a small area, from Leggett, North Carolina. It's a small area. Went to a 1A high school. So I didn't have as much resources as everybody else. So I just kind of went with the flow of everything. And come around my senior year, I went to a combine, Blue Gray All-American, 2017. That's when I graduated. I played in that game, but I didn't get as much playing time as I wanted. It was a lot of kids. So, yeah, I took it from there. Right round track season came. I had a couple D2 schools. They hit me up, and I was like, man, I ain't not really trying to go D2. You know what I'm saying? I kind of knew my worth. So took a shot at JUCO, took a risk. Went to JUCO out there at ASA Miami. My first year, I walked on there. My first year, I didn't get as much playing time. A lot of special teams, of course. So I played special teams, did my part. Then probably around the second to last game, started getting a lot more burn. They started to see what I really could do on the field. You know what I'm saying? So going into spring, I kind of popped off. You know what I'm saying? Started getting right. Got a lot of interceptions, forced fumbles, just flying around, do what I do, Then got my offer. I got the scholarship. I earned my scholarship that spring season. So went from there, second semester, played that season, popped off again, got the offers. I got offer from Arkansas's Pine Bluff. That's Division I AA. My other offer was Albany out in Georgia. That's a Division II. But having the knowledge that I had again, I didn't commit right away. So they kind of took the offers away from me. And then I was kind of down bad, a little depressed about it. Right when the third semester ended, Wagner, they hit me up like late minute, probably like December 17th. And Coach Wilson called me, Coach Hallstate called me. I told him right then and there, I said, man, I'm going to just commit right then and there. So I took my blessing. I went with it. That's how I ended up at Washington College. Went there that first semester, trying to get the feel of it out there in New York, real cold. It's probably about 20 something degrees. I ended up going there in the spring semester because I graduated from ASA Miami a little early. So yeah, that's how it all popped off, really. Just to keep it short, I could go into a lot more detail, but just to keep it short, run through it. That's how everything started going into college.
I was kind of digging a little bit. I didn't not gonna act like I did a bunch of research here, but I dug in a little bit. Was trying to look at some of your statistics and stuff like that. So I'm not going to sit here and quote off a bunch of things. But I think what kind of caught me a little bit is that you had one attempt, one completion, but it was a touchdown. You also had some other offensive statistics. Not a whole lot, but I mean, like, can you walk us through? Because clearly I don't have any tape or anything to watch here. How did these individual opportunities pop up on the offensive side of the ball while you're at Wagner?
So during my first season there in 2019, played through the season, probably around the the last 3 games. Coach Hossie asked me to kind of play both sides of the ball because we was running low on running backs. And given my background, I played running back, defensive back, kick return in high school. They kind of trusted me a little bit more to take that position, you know what I'm saying, take that responsibility. I'm a good leader, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of put it in my hands. Uh, yeah, it's crazy how it happened. I always wanted to play on both sides of the ball going into college. I looked at Adoree Jackson, Jabril Peppers. I always looked at them, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of fell into my hands as well. So I was blessed to get that opportunity. But yeah, they got me in the mix of some stuff. They had me running a little, I forgot what they called, but little flare routes coming out the backfield, a couple screen passes. They had me going traps, running traps and stuff like that. It kind of threw me in the fire, but I already had a feeling of running the ball. It was like second nature. So yeah, they kind of put me in the mix and I started popping off. Like I think my second game playing running back and defensive back as well. Throw a passing touchdown. We was down bad. Was getting blew out, but we had to do something, you know what I'm saying? So coach opened up the playbook. Got a toss play, boom, ran it. Seen Josh DeCamry wide open, so I just threw it on the run. And the little baseball stuff, all of it just kicked in, you know what I'm saying? Threw a dot, caught the ball, touchdown. I think that was the only touchdown we scored that game, actually. Then the next game, so I was kind of feeling myself, got myself out the rush. I led the team at rushing yards that game. I didn't score. I broke for about 30 yards on one play. I think I had like eight rushes, 48 yards, one reception for 4 yards. Got the first down. It was third down. Came in, got a couple tackles, couple stops on defense on fourth down. Had 7 tackles total. I kind of remember all those stats from that game. That was like my favorite game of college, besides the Buffalo game my senior year. But yeah, I just went with the flow, took my opportunity, and did what I could do to help the team. So
Yeah, I mean, I look at I remember seeing. I mean, obviously, you did some special teams, returning and whatnot as well, right? So I mean, like you you actually did kind of play multiple facets of, not just defensive back, which is obviously your bread and butter, your specialty, so to speak. But I mean, you did a lot on special teams. You obviously got involved in the office. I wanted to kind of just touch on that a little bit. Not that that's like, your bread and butter, like I mentioned, but it's just the fact that it kind of shows to your versatility in some way, right?
yeah,
Not only just how versatile you are, but how you could be relied on. Because it's one thing to do something occasionally and a fill in if there's injuries. There's another thing if you kind of are part of the game plan. Like this is a thing we're going to be filling in this year, like you said. I wasn't a football player. And anyone that has tuned into the show for a long time knows that I came from a high school that didn't have football at the time. They got football after I left. So, kudos to those that had the opportunity where I come from in Western New York. But, I was a soccer player and I went on, played, collegiate ball and stuff like that. But I can understand that because if somebody wants to look it up, back in the late 90s. My school didn't. We had some ineligible players at the goalkeeper position, and yours truly here had to step in that role. And
Gotcha.
but I mean, like it's not that I had the experience before, and I know it's a completely different sport. People are like, I don't really care about soccer, whatever you want. Like, I get it, but I can relate, like, on some aspect of it's one thing to do something, but then it's another thing to do it at a fairly high level or quality enough where it's like, okay, you're not just doing it as, okay, you're just gonna go out there every once in a while to give somebody a breather. You're actually game plan. You're running the ball. You're actually catching the ball. You're throwing the ball. Like, I mean, that is like planned. That's not a mistake. That stuff just doesn't. And then obviously you're very involved in the special teams aspect of the game. The reason why I like to talk about these things because it kind of gives somebody an idea of who you are, right? And your background was high school, the recruiting, and there's a lot of these diamonds in the rough, so to speak, that don't get these opportunities. Is the five-star blue chip players from all of the major Power Five schools, but it kind of shows that you were able to put your skill set on the on the map, so to speak. So now let's springboard this to your post college. You who had joined the indoor football league's Tucson Sugar Skulls. So
Yes, sir.
this is not like the National Football League draft situation, like all those fans that are tuning in that are aware of that, or other players tuning in and coaches. This is one of those opportunities that's a little bit less publicized. So how did this one come to fruition? And once you kind of share how you learned of it or who reached out, you can kind of just talk to us and share what your time was like with the Tucson Sugar Skulls.
Got you. So yeah, coming out of college, I had a little bit of looks, but I guess because of the losing records that we did have, I didn't get as many looks as I should have. But I got signed. I got signed by this agent. Shout out to Kenny Kim. He kind of put me out there. Did my pro day. I didn't do too well. The field was kind of wet. It had snowed. We did it at Columbia. It had snowed the day before. They didn't cover the field up with the dome, which was crazy. But dealt with that. Didn't have a good pro day, but I did real good in my drills, which is just nothing. So it's football at the end of the day. But it come down to testing. It was kind of difficult for me. So yeah, I talked to the scout afterwards. He was saying I did real good during my drill, so he wanted me to come to the New York Giants workout. So I went to their workout, their private workout. Went to their yeah, that was okay. I don't think I did as well, but I did okay. I could have did better there, but leading after that, yeah, I didn't really get any looks. I did a couple XFL combines, did a couple small little camp combines just to get my name out there. Yeah, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, but I kept pushing, kept working hard, just grinding. I was out for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I gotta get some film because time running out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get some film so you can kind of climb that ladder at that point. So I dropped my pride. I never actually wanted to play in the indoor football league, but I dropped my pride and I went with that route. Shout out to my other agent, Colton Waters. He put me on to Arizona Rattlers. That was the team that I was on the first time that I went to the IFL. I first got there. So I was with the Rattlers for about 6 weeks. They ain't really played me like that. I didn't play at all, actually. So I was just in the on the field practicing with them boys, you know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where shout out to Coach Guy, he gave me an opportunity as well. He was just saying you can either sit here and just keep trying to play with us, trying to get a spot, or you can get released. So me knowing my worth, I asked to be released. And then next thing you know, Coach Back and Coach Geyser from Tucson, I got a hold of them. And that's how everything happened over there at Tucson. So went over there, boom, got right in action, right into practice. It was game week. So think the first game we played Northern Arizona. That was my first game. Kind of popped off that game, kind of showed myself, you know what I'm saying? Proved a lot of people wrong, proved myself as well that I can still play football, you know what I'm saying? I'm being out for 2 years. But yeah, that's how everything popped off with Tucson. Then we just kept playing. I think the next few games we had lost. Then we took down the number one team in the league, Vegas, caught an interception, my first interception against them. And after that, we just really had a losing season, going in and out with a couple players, trying to find a good team. Then it was like I don't know, it was like an avalanche from there. Just went downhill. But as far as the coaches and the players, man, I got love for them boys. They gave me an opportunity, gave me another chance to play football. I found another team. I got to lead a little bit, so it brought me back to life. And now I'm with the Alabama Beavers because of that. You know what I'm saying? It just opened my opportunities up some more. So now I'm just climbing the ladder, stacking days, taking it day by day, like I did before. So that's what I was doing in the off season. Them 2 years I was out, just taking it day by day, trying to get better, trying to craft, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find a spot on the team. And it happened. Showed up, did what I could do. I was ranked number one in forced fumbles. I think I was like number 11 or number 10 in passes defended. That was in the regular season. And I missed out on 6 games, so I can only imagine what else I could have did for the team, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So, traditional football, indoor, arena, whatever you want to call it, the game, fundamentally, it appears to be the same thing. It's football, but it's different football. So when, you come from the 11-man game, you go into that, there's an adjustment period, but you performed. You talk about, you led the league in, forced fumbles. You talk about how, you didn't do too bad for pass deflections, despite, being X amount of weeks short. What was the learning curve like? And how did the arena or indoor game change your current game, right? To going back to 11-man football, right? There's got to be takeaways. There's got to be like, okay, this game is either faster, whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's just ways that, you must have had to work on something. Something had to, did it change your vision of the game, the way that you process things, whatever it is? Why don't you kind of just walk us through a little bit and share how that game, how different it was, but how important that is to the player that you've now become, that you are today.
Yeah, so the indoor football league, I feel like it definitely made me a better player technical wise because the game is faster. And like you said, it's definitely a learning curve there. So when I first got to Arizona, I wouldn't say a lot of mistakes, but I made a couple little mistakes, like rookie mistakes. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of rookies on the team. We all made a lot of mistakes. We all got better. But during that time, I can't say I got better at that technique because as a defensive back, it's a lot faster for a defensive back because you have the receivers, they're in motion before the play. So you got to make sure you maintain your leverage. The play call could change because if a motion man attack you, he may attack you, then run to the other side of the field. So you have to have a quick mindset, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to be very reactive during the game, very locked in, laser focused. You got to understand what's going to happen before it happens. So that's when the film comes in play. Film played a big part in that league, just help you be more reactive on the defensive side of the ball. So what I would say the indoor league helped me with is technique and film study. You gotta know what your opponent gonna do before they come out and play. Like you got to. If you don't, it's over with. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, it's over with. The receivers are already running in motion at you. It's I don't know. It's like 2 times faster than outdoor. So I think I would play a lot faster in the outdoor game just because the indoor league is much faster than the outdoor game. It'll kind of slow things down for me being out there. So, yeah, I could kind of slow play things a little bit more, looking at the quarterback, get the different check calls and stuff like that, motions will be a lot slower. So I feel like it'll be a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, football is football. So just got to go out there and play, prepare, watch film, and just have fun, fly around.
You mentioned you're taking these one step at a time up the ladder, right? You already alluded to, you're turning the page, so to speak. You're not returning to Tucson, obviously, and you're looking at this opportunity here to go back to 11-man football with the newly formed International Football Alliance's Alabama Beavers. Right, so I know there's a lot of people tuning in. I've been kind of covering the IFA a little bit more and more, but it's a new league, some new teams that people haven't heard of. So can you walk us through the decision just to focus back on 11-man football, right? I understand that that's the goal. It's always the goal. But can you just walk us through why you thought the timing was right, how this opportunity came about with the IFA's Alabama Beavers, and just kind of walk us through that, because you received a camp invitation. So nothing's a done deal. You still have work ahead of you, like a lot of other guys, but you're betting on yourself. So can you just kind of walk us through the mindset, the thought process of how you got here and why you feel this is the right path at this moment in time?
Like you said, I'm just taking a risk on myself. I've been taking a risk on myself my whole life, coming out of high school, going to JUCO, then going to Division I ball, trying to shoot for the big leagues. I always just been taking a risk on myself, shooting my shot. So this league actually came along before I even went to the indoor football league. Like, I went to a combine out there in Ohio. I drove out there from North Carolina, drove all the way to Cincinnati by myself to go to an IFA combine. IFA combine. So, that's how I actually started. Did a lot of one-on-ones there. I got in contact with one of the coaches. I actually forgot his name. Got the longer hair, gray beard, gray hair. Got his name. I think so. I think that's him. So he got my contact information. Then I think like a couple months later, they pushed the league back. So now I was like, okay, I need to find another route for right now. That's how the IFL came along. Boom. Took that shot. But yeah, then it cycled back around on me. So, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, this it right here. It's time to move on, take that next step. So I signed the camp invitation with the Alabama Beavers. Shout out to my agent again. He put me on with the Alabama Beavers, talked to Shane Anderson. So yeah, that's how all that came along. Just taking my shot, man. Just like I did all them other years. Just keeping it going, climbing the ladder, stacking days. Just keeping it pushing, man.
So I've had your teammate or potential teammate, however we want to word it, Ivory Durham on the show twice before, but once since his joining of the Beavers. I know he's living in Huntsville and whatnot, so he's done some public relations stuff, kind of going to local schools and whatnot. So I know that Alabama has done some things different than some of the other teams in the IFA, right? It seems they haven't been hesitant, or they're not, shy on sharing. There's a lot of different camps going on, right? Not just tryouts, but like camps and different things. So I know there's an opportunity for some of you guys to start meshing together. Can you kind of just share with us, how much do you feel like you're already connected with this team, despite, camp hasn't started yet? Are you connecting well with, teammates, staff members, and are you talking to any of them regularly, that type of thing?
I wouldn't say that I'm fully connected with them. I would say the coaches keep us updated on a lot of information, as they should. They keep in contact with us. We have probably meetings twice out the month. So they just come in there to talk to us, keep us motivated, making sure that we stay in condition, of course. Just preparing us to have the right mindset going into camp, really. And I know some of the guys stay out there in Alabama, so I think they are connected. They are working out with each other, trying to build some type of chemistry before going into camp. But right now I'm in North Carolina, so I can't really get to the people out there in Alabama or Georgia. They're closer together, but Yeah, I do join the meetings and I do listen to what the coaches have to say. Just standing attentive to what's going on, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, all I could do is focus on me right now, prepare myself for camp, just run, lifting, working on technical stuff, things that I was taught in the indoor league, leverage. So that's what I work on most of the time. Leverage, keeping my feet moving. Yeah, just going through off season training really. That's all I could just focus on me really.
Oh, I understand that. I get it. So you're in North Carolina. We know camp is coming up. I think it's a fairly short camp. Season kicks off May 31st.
Yeah.
So I mean, when is it that you're looking to head out to Alabama there to Huntsville to start getting settled in for camp? When are you planning on making that trip?
So camp is May 1st, but I may go there the day before just because it's in another state to get settled in a little bit and kind of prepare my mind. But I may go like I don't know, probably go like a day or two before, you know what I'm saying? Go in there and kind of settle down, get my body ready. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready right now, honestly. I feel like I'm actually ready right now. So I'm just
Well,
gonna keep stacking days and keep working hard.
well, that's it. Now you got to find that balance, right? You got to keep yourself ready, but you got to keep
So,
yourself healthy, and that's very important so that this opportunity, you can make the most of it. So I get that. I look over there in Huntsville, and anything can look a certain way, but I know the stadium looks small. It looks good though. You know what I'm saying, compared to some of the other teams playing in a high school stadium. You guys look like you got a pretty good deal there, and I'm pretty excited to see what happens with the IFA. I know as a player you're excited about the opportunity ahead of you, but I'm always excited to see what these leagues are going to be like. I know this league is going to play more, or my understanding they're going to use the NFL playbook, so you guys are going to get a true feel for that. Where some other leagues like the UFL or whatever are using a combination of NFL rules slash their own innovative rules type of thing, but it looks pretty interesting. I think that's going to be a pretty cool experience. And from what they've reported on versions of sales and stuff, I think you're going to have a very good crowd there. So that, I'm excited for you and anybody else that's going to be in Alabama. And I think they're going to be the flag bearer. I really do. I think they're going to be the one that's kind of carrying that torch, or torch bearer, flag bearer, whatever term you want to use. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm sure you are too, but I know you probably can't share too much of what teammates you're seeing on there, but you're probably seeing enough of the roster starting to develop in a way that you're probably, you could share things if you wanted to. I'm not asking you to, because I know like Alabama's pretty tight-lipped. They haven't announced their head coach yet, even though I'm pretty certain I know who it is, being connected with stuff. But it looks like a pretty legit operation without sharing too much. What can you share without oversharing? I don't want to get you in trouble because you haven't made the team yet. What can you share about this team? Because whether it's been you, other players, fans, there's a lot of question marks around this league. But from your interaction, from what you have been dealing with, what could you tell those tuning in to about this team and the league that you understand to this date?
what I can say is I know a lot of people have seen some of the players that have signed with the team. I believe that we're going to be a very physical team coming into camp. So going to be a lot of competition going on. It's going to be real physical, a lot of effort, a lot of people flying around. We got some good talent, some good athletes, a lot of people that played in the upper Division 1 levels, lower Division 1 levels, a couple D2s, you know what I'm saying? So we got athletes all around. That's what I can say. Like, I feel like we're gonna be that team, like how you said, like we're gonna be the team that carry the torch. So I'm just ready to go out there and perform, go out there and have fun with everybody, man. Like, I don't know, just time ticking. Time ticking, that's all I can say.
Well, there are paper champions and there are real champions, so there's still work to be done, right? Whether for
Yep.
yourself or for the team. So I don't want to crown anybody. Things might look good, but that's the other thing. When you don't see a lot coming out of some teams, the other teams could look good too, and you just not know it yet. So
Yep.
got to take one day at a time. I do have one last question here before we start to look to wrap things up. I always like to give players an opportunity to kind of share something or discuss anything they feel is very important to themselves in their career. So I want to kind of give you a moment here because I know you still have work ahead of you to do. You got to go to camp, you got to secure that, that spot on the roster, get that contract locked up, and then to play the season. But, there's other opportunities always floating around too. So you always got to think further on down the line, maybe not just the season, but whatever, right? Whoever might be tuning in. What is it? There's got to be something or a couple things if you want to discuss two or three things. What are the things that make you uniquely you or that are very important to you that you just think are just widely unknown that is important that they should so that they might look at you in a different light or seriously consider you moving forward?
Let's see. Um, I would say it's good. It's good to be that weird person sometimes. A lot of people don't see your vision. Only you can see your vision. So it's good to be that weird person. Be different, man. Like just be you. Try not to be like other people out there. Like literally just be you, man. It might look weird to other people, but you pushing for something. You know what I'm saying? Like you got hope for something. You see yourself becoming someone or something. So I would say just keep being that weird person. You don't have to go out if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to stay in if you don't want to. Like literally just be you. Push to be the person that you want to be. That's what I do. Like I don't really go out. I kind of stay out the way. I just go work out, come home. A lot of people just think I'm weird. Don't smoke, don't drink. Like people just think it's weird, but you got to be that weird person sometimes to get to where you want to be at. You got to take different routes from other people. You got to go explore the world, be open-minded. Don't be so stuck in the box. And you see social media and how everything going and how the society is now, man. Just be you, man. Like honestly, that's all I can say. I call myself the hidden gem. Come from the mud, really, literally a country boy, small town. I just keep pushing every day, man. Like I don't know. That's all I can say. Like literally, just be you. Like try to be you. Try to get to where you want to be at in life.
Well, Ahmad, I appreciate your time and having you on the show to discuss your football journey and earning that camp invitation with the Alabama Beavers. I really, and I honestly mean this. I know sometimes it just doesn't sound that way, but I wish you the best of health and luck as you prepare for camp. And I really hope that things go well for you because I know there's a lot that has gone into your life up to this point. Whether it's like you said, playing a game at a young age, whether it's going JUCO, eventually fighting to get your D1 opportunity. Things get delayed, keep working, get into the IFL. I get it. I do, and I know that that's a grind, and there's a lot going on there for somebody to keep that ambition alive and not giving up on it. So I really do. I hope everything goes well. And if it goes well enough that you're able to secure a spot with the Alabama Beavers and, get an opportunity to play here in the 2025 inaugural season in the IFA, maybe in a few months we can have you come back and catch up on that IFA journey. And, hopefully we're talking not a hypothetical opportunity, but maybe, what's happening currently, or maybe even if it's after the season, I know, 8 weeks, whatever. So, I'll leave that door open to you if you'd like it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a little while since I've had a player on. I think Ivory was the last player that I had on, and I have pretty much been focused on players for a while. But since I brought my show back from hiatus, it's kind of taken a little bit more because I've dove into a lot of other leagues with the IFA and some of the arena leagues and whatnot. So it really is a pleasure having you. And, like I said, best of luck, man. Really.
Appreciate it, man.
You are welcome. You truly are. So open door. I always say that people are friends of the show. Once you're on once, we'll always try our best to get you back on if that's something you want to do, but I don't try to hound you. But yeah, you're welcome. Anytime, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you have a good night, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
Before you go, why don't we, I know you said you're not a big social media guy. Well, people like to follow people's journeys. So why don't you go ahead and just take a moment and share where they could follow you on this journey with the Alabama Beavers and beyond.
Got you. You can follow me on Instagram, Ahmad Lyons, AhmadLyons 3. Same thing, Twitter handle, same thing. Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube as well. I actually post my game highlights after every game, almost like a huddle thing for high school. Started doing that in the IFL league. So you kind of follow my journey. I try to post what I do workout wise during the off season on my story, just to give what I do to the younger kids that may not know as much, and they want to see what they could do to get better themselves. So I try to keep everybody posted up on what I do during the off season, how I work, what I work on. Try to show them some of the secrets, you know what I'm saying? Try not to show them too much, but, I try to show them what I show them. So, yeah. That's what you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's the same handle, same thing.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ahmad.
Sir.
A few weeks ago, I was fortunate to connect with Ahmad. It has been a few months since a player has appeared on the show to share their story. So I am grateful for his time in learning about his journey. I acknowledge the show has had a heavy dose of International Football Alliance guests. In part, it is due to the nature of the league being brand spanking new. As someone dedicated to the professional alternative football world, I'm doing my part in helping the league, its teams, and the players representing them to get exposure needed for them to have a successful launch in season. Before we wrap things up, it is time to share a few reminders and upcoming events. February 5th through the 8th, Arena Football 1 will host its combine in Naples, Florida. For details, visit the AF1.com or nationalscoutingcombine.com. February 5th through the 8th, Arena Football 1 will host its combine in Naples, Florida. For more details, visit the AF1.com or nationalscoutingcombine.com. February 15th, International Football Alliance's San Antonio Caballeros will host its tryout at Somerset High School at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. local time. To register, visit ifa.football/San-Antonio-tryout. Also on February 15th, Arena Football 1's Wilkes-Barre Mavericks will host its final open tryout at Misericordia University Sports Dome at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. local time. To register, visit play4wb.com. February 22nd, Indoor Football League's Green Bay Blizzard will host an open tryout at Crest Event Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. local time. Also on February 22nd, International Football Alliance's Dallas Mineros will host its final public tryout at DeSoto High School in DeSoto, Texas from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. local time. March 1st, Indoor Football League's Arizona Rattlers will host an open tryout at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona at 1 p.m. local time. As always, a big thank you to everyone who has tuned in this week. I hope you all found today's information helpful and enjoyed my conversation with Ahmad Lyons. I look forward to having you all back next week for an all-new episode of Player 54 Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into today's show. You can support the show and our partners by using code PLAYER54 at checkout at any of the following websites: RoyalRetros.com, where you can save 15%, TrueVictory.com, where you can save 15%, BuckedUp.com, where you can save 20%, ImpactMouthguards.com, where you can save 10%, HobbyArmor.com, where you can save 5%, JustMeatJerky.com, where you can save 10%. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe and rate Player 54 Podcast on your platforms of choice. Do you have a question or topic you would like to have discussed on the show? Message us via social media or send an email to player54podcast@gmail.com.